We're testing to see if I am in the lighting, if I'm in focus, because my Apple Watch isn't working and it's really annoying. What you'll already have noticed is that all the books are gone from up here. And while you might be thinking, Katie, you can't seriously be reorganizing your bookshelf again. Don't you do that like 2 times in every single reading vlog? Yes. But also, why are you judging me? Hello? So I took all the books off because I'm going to show you all of the books that I need to read before I move. Now, as of right now, it is the very end of August when I'm filming this video, and I need to move by like the beginning of November. So is this possible? I reiterate, no. But am I going to feel like it has to happen until November? Absolutely. I really am trying to cull the herd of my physical TBR before I move. Not that it's a really big deal, because 42 physical books is really not that much for a TBR, like, especially if you're in the booktube community, that's like bare bones of a TBR, to be honest. So I'm just gonna like pick the book up and show it to you and either tell you why it's on my TBR or what it's about. And if I'm wrong, which I'm sure I will be about a lot of things about a lot of these books, because I haven't done my research, because like we're here for a fun time, not a factual time, you know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong about any of it, you can either A, deal with it, or 2, tell me that I'm wrong in the comments. Either of which is totally okay, because honestly it would be hilarious. Like if I say that a book is a romance and you're like, that's a thriller, and I'm like, what? Okay, now I really want to read it. Like, that is hilarious to me. So the first one is All's Well by Mona Awad. Now, this is actually the book that I am currently listening to. It is my most anticipated book of 2021. This one is about a drama teacher who, when she was putting on a play of All's Well that she was performing in, she fell off the stage and got very, very injured, and she's had a chronic pain ever since then that has gone like undiagnosed and has been treated a bunch of times but never correctly. So now she wants to put on All's Well with her drama department, and none of the kids are interested because they think it's super boring and dull, and they basically start a mutiny against her, and then a bunch of weird starts happening, and I'm like invested. But I'm only in the beginning, so I don't know. But that's book number 1. And then we have The Lies of La Clemora. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm only interested in reading this because I love the title of it so much. The Lies of La Clemora. Does that not sound like the most seductive title you've ever heard? That sounds like a spell. It sounds like an enchantment. The Lies of La Clemora. Like, that's so gorgeous, so stunning. I hope it's a female narrator because I'm trying to paint a picture. You know what I'm saying? This book, I have no idea what it's about. I'm pretty sure it's like a trilogy or something, and it's fantasy, and I'm pretty sure it's set in like a winter setting, and it's like not our world or something, like kind of Game of Thrones-y. I don't know what I'm talking about. It might be a little bit above my intellectual level as far as fantasy goes, but willing to give it a shot. Then we have Good Girl, Bad Blood. So this is the second book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I loved A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I gave it 5 stars. It had like a podcast element to it, and it was this high schooler that was doing like her senior thesis on trying to solve this murder and going through and like interviewing people and trying to figure it out because she's a girl and she's young, so she was kind of unassuming. And that book was fantastic. I loved the audio for that. And I was like, well, I have to get the audio for the second book. So I have that. I'm very excited to read it. I don't know what the case is about, but I know it's following the same girl from the first book. And I really liked her. So hopefully I love it. So The Picture of Dorian Gray, it's a classic. And I had 2 different people that I work with when I asked all of them what their favorite books were. They both, or 2 of them out of all of these people, they're both men, too, said that that was one of their favorite books they've ever read and that it was definitely their favorite classic. So all I know about this is that it is about, I know the trope of it where it is a guy who is so vain and like doesn't want to get older that he basically has this like portrait commissioned of himself, and he stays young and beautiful, but the portrait of him gets older and like sickly and everything. I've heard, well, both of the guys that told me that they loved it are gay, and they said that they were like, oh, it's like quintessential queer literature. And I was like, is he gay? Is Dorian Gray gay? Like, have I been missing out? I think I'm ignorant, so definitely interested in reading that at some point, but I'm like, It's gonna take forever. Another one that I'm like, when am I ever gonna read this? And I've heard it's quintessential gay literature is The Color Purple. I want to read this because I want to know what all the hype is about, but reading classics is so hard because there's just so much more fun things to read out there. This is gonna have to wait until like either I have nothing else to read or I'm just like really in that mood to feel smart. Yikes. And then I have 3, I don't know what the trilogy is called, but The Bone Witch. So it's The Bone Witch, The Heart Forger, and The Shadow Glass. I have no idea what these books are about. I know that it's fantasy. I've heard a couple of people say it's good, but I don't hear that many people talk about it. Listen, I bought the whole series. We tend to do that. Speaking of which, I bought the entire series of Red Rising. So Red Rising, Morning Star, and Golden Sun. That might be the right order. I don't know. I've been sitting on these audios for quite a while. This is by Pierce Brown. I've been sitting on these for quite a while. I have every intention of reading these. I know that it's taking me forever to get to them because my Libby holds always take precedent, or anticipated releases always take precedent, or things that I have like set vlogs for take precedent. But I'm very intrigued by this. Really, the only thing I know about it is that it is Hunger Games in space. And that's all I need to know. That's like legit all I need to know. And I really like the covers of these books. Like, I don't know. I just think they're really cool. So I'm hoping to get hardbacks of them. And honestly, I feel like part of me has been waiting to get the physical books to like push me to read them, because then they're on my physical TBR, even though I know I want to listen to the audiobook because Olivia absolutely loves this series and said the audiobook is fantastic. And then Illumicrate just came out with special editions of them. Oh my God, are we about to buy more shit? Yeah. Anyway, the last book that I have for audio is God's Grave by Jade Kristoff. Okay. I accidentally bought the second book before I owned the first book. Oops. I don't know. I've not heard great things about Jade Kristoff. I've never really dived into what's wrong with him, but apparently there's a lot that's wrong with this guy. So I don't know if I'm going to read the Nevernight series. It sounds like something I would really like. It sounds like something I would love. And I kind of wish that I had read it before all of this stuff came out so I could have had an unbiased opinion. But then again, maybe that would be bad, because then if I had read it then and loved it and then all the stuff came out about him, I would feel like I was losing a favorite. So I don't know. I need to like really dive deeper into it to see if I even want to read them, but I might. Now on to the physical books, which is like the main point of this video, the books that I'm trying to cull down before I move to set a high goal for myself. The first of which, let's knock this one out, just go ahead. That's Nevernight, the book I was just talking about. So I own the physical book of the first one and then the audiobook of the second one. Again, don't ask me any questions. So this, I believe, is about an assassin trying to get revenge. And I think there's some sort of like dark academia thing of like a school where they learn how to be assassins. I could be wrong, but I could be wrong about literally everything I've said so far about any of these books. Anyway, don't know if I'm going to read it, but this is book number 1. The second book is a reread that I'm very looking forward to, and it is My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. So I want to read this, and then I want to read He Started It and For Your Own Good. I think those are the two other books that she's come out with after she wrote this. I absolutely adored this. I read it last year. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing, stunning, beautiful. It's about a couple, this married couple, who murder people together. And that's like their little dating moment, you know? That's like their little romance. They're like, oh my God, you see that girl? You want to kill her? I mean, that would be like cute. Like, I don't know, like, do you like roses or do you like knives? Like, do you like sweet flowers, the perfume of flowers, or do you like blood? Because I want blood for my birthday. It's a fun time. It's a fun, raucous time, okay? It's very Gone Girl, but like not serious, you know? It's like, I don't know. I just loved it. I love the whole like the couple that murders together, stays together kind of mentality. I don't read it a lot. And also, I'm obsessed with this cover. So intrigued to read this one again. Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. This looks very Victoria Schwab on the back. Am I wrong? Anyway, this is a book that Gabby said she absolutely loved. She was like, I think that she didn't say that it was one of her favorite horrors of all time, but that it was like one of her favorite horrors of 2021. But she said that it's about like all these like horror authors that go to this like maybe haunted house as like a writing retreat, and then weird haunted crap starts happening. Like, I'm down to ride. I can't tell you when or if I am going to find the willpower and motivation in myself to read this book. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Are you seeing how big this is compared to my freaking dome? Like, my freaking noggin is like only slightly larger than this book. What? And it's all like tiny writing. But this is a stunning edition. I absolutely love it. Was it like the 25th year or something like that? I don't know. Oh, the 25th year, good God. 10th anniversary edition. The reason I'm not sure if I'm going to read this is because it's supposed to be a trilogy. There's The Name of the Wind and then The Wise Man's Fear? I don't know. It's supposed to be a trilogy, and the last book came out a while ago, and people are like not sure if the third book's ever gonna come out. And like, honestly, if I would have known back when I was reading a Song of Ice and Fire that the last like 2 books were never gonna come out, I would not have ever started the series. But now here I am, bitter for the last 10 years that we have not got Winds of Winter. Bitter, okay? So do I want to do that to myself? I don't know. I've heard it's fantastic. I also had several men that I work with say that The Name of the Wind is like one of their favorite books I've ever read. It's supposed to be about this man who's telling a story, and this whole book is him telling a story of one day, and then the second book is of the second day, and the third book is supposed to be the third day. Don't know what the story's about. I've heard it's good. But I don't know how much pain I want to put myself through in starting a series that might never finish. The Prior of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This one I am absolutely going to read, and I'm planning to do a vlog of this, like reading the biggest book on my TBR. I'm very excited about it. I feel like I've heard a lot of people just give it like 3 or 4 stars, but do you see this cover? This looks stunning. And I've heard that it's like an epic fantasy with lesbians and dragons, and like, I don't really super dig like epic fantasy because it's like too hard to get my brain to freaking compute. But like dragons, lesbians, fantasy, swords, I'm here for it. I love this cover so much, and it's always facing out on my shelf. So I really, really hope that it's amazing. The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White, who is a very popular author. Like, she wrote like And I Darken, she wrote Slayer. Didn't she write the Guinevere Deception? Pretty sure it's the same girl. Anyway, she's written like a lot of books. This one, the cover caught my eye at at Half Price Books, and I was like, I need that. That is so beautiful, and it's quite short. And funny enough, I've had 2 different people message me and be like, hey, I don't know if you have this book or if you've read it, but if you haven't, I think that you would really love The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein if you love The Strange Case of Alchemist's Daughter. And I was like, what? You mean that book on my shelf? Should I read it? What? And I don't understand why it would be like The Strange Case of Alchemist's Daughter. I mean, other than like Frankenstein, I don't know. But when I picked this up, I didn't realize it was signed. We love a fun little moment. It's supposed to be like this girl. Her name's like Victoria? No, it's Elizabeth. Her name's Elizabeth. And well, it's on the freaking cover, Katie. Let's move past my embarrassment. This is about a girl named Elizabeth, and she's like being abused, I think, by like a caretaker, and gets thrown out on the street, and then this like boy named Victor takes her in, and they become inseparable, but then I guess he's like crazy. I guess? I'm very confused. And then it's like she has to like help control his temper to stay alive, because I guess he's like paying for her to like live there and eat and everything. I don't know, but I'm excited to read it. It's stunning, it's beautiful, and a couple people told me that they think I'll like it. Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina. This is one of the Book of the Month books that I was sent for August. And I read The Couple Next Door by Sherry Lapina and absolutely loved it. Like, I gave it 4 to 5 stars, such a fun, fast, engaging time. But then I also read A Stranger in the House and hated it. Like, 1 star, wish I DNF'd it. So not sure where this is gonna go. It's her new book. Hopefully it's even better than The Couple Next Door. But this is about a summary, like a plot that I find very, very intriguing. And that is where there's a super rich family, like a rich couple with like 3 rich kids, I think. And the parents die. And the kids, they're like, oh, well, they're like sad and mourning, right? But then they're kind of acting weird. And it's like, what happened to the parents? Like, did one of them kill them? I don't know. And literally it says somewhere on it something really interesting. It says like, oh, after all, if one of your family were capable of something as gruesome as this, you'd know, right? I'm intrigued. Another August book of the month pick was The Heart Principle by Helen Wong. So I did read The Kiss Quotient, and it wasn't for me because I don't really like erotica. Like, I don't like a lot of sex scenes. So that one was just okay for me. I didn't read The Bride Test, but this is the third book in kind of that, it's not a trilogy, it's like companion novels. But Kat from Paperback Dreams read this, gave it 5 out of 5 stars, was like, I don't care if you've read the other 2 books, read this, it's fantastic. It's supposed to be about this girl who goes on like a no dating ban. Is that what it is? I think. Or wait, no. No, it's not a no dating ban. She goes on like a spree of where she's just gonna like randomly date people. And no, not date. It's all coming back to me. She's gonna go on one night stands. That's what it is. One night stands, no dating. And then there's this one guy that she's like, oh my God, do I have feelings for him? And it's like this tattooed motorcycle driving man. And I've heard it's hot and cute. And I'm looking forward to it. If I tell you I'm gonna read this book one more time in a video, someone is going to come through the screen and slap me. I haven't read Stranger Dreamer yet, but we're not into the blue section. So let's just go ahead and we're just going to put Muse and Nightmares up here because I'm embarrassed at myself, and we're going to move swiftly on. Another book we're going to move swiftly on from is King's Bane by Claire Legrand. So this is the second book in the Imperium trilogy. We'll get to the first book later, but look at this red moment. A first book in a series, thank God. Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Groudon. So this is a book that Haley from Haley in Bookland has raved about, and I've never heard like anybody else talk about it. But I love that when I see booktubers who are like, listen, I know this is not like a booktube thing, but it's really good. And she has talked so much about this book, and it's available pretty quickly on Libby. So, you know, if you're out there and you want to read it, Libby has it like lickety split. But this is supposed to be like if the Nazis won the war, like an alternate timeline. And then also I'm pretty sure that it's like there's like a motorcycle competition and that people can shapeshift into wolves. I'm not going to read the back. Hopefully I'm right. Who knows? Probably you, but definitely not me. An Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. Do I know what this is about? Absolutely not. But it looks like a trashy fun time. And I keep holding on to this and being like, I'm going to read it for Summerween. I'm going to read it for Winterween. I'm going to read it in the fall. And they're just not doing it. But I definitely still have every intention on reading it. Like, even though I haven't read it for so long, I've owned this book for over a year, it doesn't deter me in the slightest. I'm sure this is going to be like a 3.5. But sometimes you just need that filler book. You know what I'm saying? And then we have Ashlords. This is the first book in what is either going to be a trilogy or like a quartet. I almost said quadrangle. Anyway, this is Ashlords. Okay. It says Ride or Die. That's hilarious. A page-turning inferno of a book by Stephanie Garber. Interesting. So I love this cover. This was sent to me and was told like, listen, no one's talking about it, but it's really good. The other book is the second book is coming out soon, which you will see later in the stack because it's blue. But this book, all I know about this is that it's supposed to be like, there's these like phoenixes, which are like these mystical horses, and then people ride them and they're like warriors or something. And there's some sort of like race, like a challenge that's going on, and I guess it's like 11 people like compete to see who's gonna win. And I don't know what they get if they win, but I love books where there's like a challenge where everyone's competing against each other. Like, I love a competition, so I am looking forward to reading this. We Set the Dark on Fire. I actually just picked this up recently from my P.O. box. Not really sure what it's about, like, at all, to be honest. When I got the book in my P.O. box, what I read was that it's about a girl who's going to this school where they train you to be like the perfect wife, and then you get like married off to these like rich husbands or powerful husbands. But then she gets asked to join a resistance that's like going to bring down this school or patriarchy. That's all I know. But anything that's down with the patriarchy, I'm down to read. I'm going to go ahead and throw this one up on the shelf, Jade War by Fonda Lee, because it is the second in a series that the first book will be coming later. Misery by Stephen King. Now, this is one I have a very exciting vlog planned out for this. So Grace and I received a box in the mail with another copy of Misery and a bunch of like annotations in it, which I did put in this book, if you can see it. So the annotations on the top were from a very, very amazing subscriber, these two subscribers actually, that sent Grace a copy, and then I already had a copy. They had annotations in it, and they said on each tab there was a gift that went along with it. So like a small little thing that went along with it that would represent whatever was happening in the book. And I was like, that is the coolest incentive to keep reading. Like, are you kidding me? So Grace and I actually are going to plan a whole vlog around it. I'm very excited about it. Not sure when it's going to happen, but pretty sure it's going to happen soon. Hopefully by the time I put this video up, her and I will already have a time set aside to read this. But anyway, I'm sure you already know what this is about. This is about a woman who is really obsessed with this book series, and the author kills off the main character, and she gets so upset about it. The author gets into a car wreck. When he wakes up, this woman, this like fanatic, fan, this stalker, is the one who found him on the side of the road. She takes him home and like ties him to the bed and is like, you're gonna write another book for me. And if you don't, I'm gonna kill you, like it's very creepy and like tortury or whatever. But Noelle Gallagher, this is like her favorite book of all time, or like her top 3 like favorite books of all time. And I'm very intrigued because Stephen King is way too lengthy for me. I've read quite a few of his books, and I'm always like, if you cut out 300 of those pages, this would have been 5 stars. And this is pretty short. So I feel like this might be a contender for a 5-star. I feel like I've talked this book to death. These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I have gone over and over and over on, do I want to read this? I truly don't know. I'm obsessed with this cover. It's absolutely stunning. Also, the fact that the next book is called These Violet Ends. Love that. But Grace read this and absolutely hated it. I know she DNF'd it. She was like, it's just terrible. It's horrible. And then I think there's someone else that I follow that hated it. And then there's like 2 other people I follow that loved it. And I was like, I don't know. And the things that Grace was saying she didn't like about the book, I know that I won't like. So I'm not sure. This is about these 2 characters, Roma and Julie, something like Juliet. I have no idea. But I know it's Roma, but they're in Shanghai, and it's like the 1920s, and they're like from rivaling gangs, but they're like past lovers. And there's something going on, like the sickness that's going on in Shanghai where people are like ripping out their own throats. And the 2 characters, like Roma and Juliet, I think is her name, they have to put their weapons aside and come together to like save the town before there's like no streets left for them to own. I don't know. You tell me. Like, should I get rid of this book? I can't decide. This is another book where I'm not sure what it's about because I've definitely read the summary before, for sure, like a couple times. And I've heard people talk about it, and I still don't understand what it's about. All I know is it's about like this really like weird mystical house where like it just randomly floods sometimes. Just random stuff. There's like random creatures there, I think. And there's a guy who's in the house, and there's like one other person in the house, and he's called like the Other. This is another one that I heard Murphy from Murphy Books talk about, and she gave it 5 stars, was like, please read this book. It's so, so good. The only thing that was like stopping me from being like, is this a book for me? Is that I've heard that it's like for fans of The Ocean at the End of the Lane, which I didn't really like that because I thought it was boring. I was just like, I don't really care. Like, it wasn't a bad book, I guess, but it just wasn't for me. So I'm hoping I love it because I really, really want to keep this book on my shelf. Let's talk about the softest, most buttery arc of all time. In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. This is, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, listen, I know I just buy hardbacks, but like there's something so satisfying about this moment. This is so amazing. All I know about this is like, I think it's about like this group of like 6 friends or something that when they're in college or high school, something like that, some dark academia moment, somebody dies. And then it's like years and years later, maybe they go to a reunion or something and they're trying to solve what happened all those years ago. I don't know, but like, if that's the only thing I knew about the book, and even if I'm only right about half of the stuff I just said, it sounds like a great time. Furyborn by Claire Legrand. This is the author of Sawkill Girls, and I absolutely adored Sawkill Girls. So when I saw these at my free little library, I had to pick them up. Olivia also absolutely adores this series and really wants me to read it, and I definitely trust her opinion, like especially on YA fantasy, but I don't know what these books are about. at all. Let's see what the front cover says. Two queens will rise, one with the power to save the world, one with the power to destroy it. They carry your fate in their hands. I mean, that and Olivia's signature, like, I'm sold. Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse is another book that I've had facing out on my TBR shelf for so long, and I couldn't be happier about it because I honestly feel like I'm putting this and Priory off for so long because what if I don't like them and then I have to get rid of them? And look how stunning they are. I actually, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know what this book is about. I've heard so many people talk about it, but it's always so confusing. I feel like it doesn't stick in my head, like, what happens in this book. All I know is that there's something that goes on where it's like a winter solstice or like an equinox, and it's happening at the same time as something else. Like maybe an equinox and like a winter solstice are happening at the same time. And it's like supposed to be that like that crazy thing that's happening like celestially makes a god like appear or reappear or like emerge. I don't know, but this is beautiful and it's buttery, and I really, really hope I love it. Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett. I'm obsessed with this cover. This is a book that someone sent me and said, I know you love Six of Crows. This has a kind of similar like vibe to it, but make it adult and a little bit higher fantasy. And I was like, a beach, say less, say less. And then also it's a female main character and she's a thief. Way. And like, it's blurbed by Brandon Sanderson. I've never seen a book blurbed by Brandon Sanderson before. That is high praise. Okay, it says prepare for ancient mysteries, innovative magic, and heart-pounding heists. So it's about a female main character and she's a thief. And I think that she like accidentally steals this artifact that's like, she steals it on purpose, but it turns out that it's really, really powerful and that she doesn't know how to use it, but that there are people that do know how to use it. And if they use it, they can like rewrite history or like change the world. So now people are like out there trying to kill her to like get this artifact. And I think she has to like team up with a group of people, like a ragtag group of misfits. And from Six of Crows, like you already know that I love that kind of stuff. City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. So this is a trilogy. This is the first in a trilogy. And somehow I only have the first and third book. I have Empire of Gold, which is the third book, but I don't have Kingdom of Copper, which is the second book. I don't know how that happened. Like, it's honestly embarrassing. So I haven't started the series yet because it's not complete. Because I'm like, what if I want to read the second book? And I can't. Anyway, this cover's stunning. This is another book that Olivia loves. Can you tell that I really just like take like 4 different people's opinions on the internet and just buy whatever they say? Anyway, this, I honestly can't really tell you what it's about because every time I try to look up the summary or read the summary or hear somebody talk about the summary, my brain just starts spiraling. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm so confused. All I know is that it's a magical world. It's fantasy. It looks like it, I have no idea. But that it's like, let's just see who it's blurbed by. And that'll give you an idea of if you like it. It's blurbed by Lainey Taylor. Okay. It's blurbed by Saba Tahir. Roshani Chachki. And no one else I recognize. Cool. You know what? I am willing to give it a shot. It's a freaking ginormous book. And the writing is, it's pretty tiny. Also, it's written in papyrus. Interesting choice. Not mad at it. I hope I love it because I own the first and the third book in hardback and they're stunning. So here's to hoping. And then we have Jade City by Fonda Lee. Now, before when you saw Jade War, that is the second book. This is the first book. And then Jade Legacy, I think like either just got announced what the title was going to be, or maybe it was the cover reveal. So it is a trilogy and I've heard phenomenal things about it. I've just heard so many people say that like it's a really amazing, like really, really high kind of level of fantasy and that it's really good. I don't really hear much else about it other than that it's fantastic. All I know is that it is about this like city or world. I don't know if it's solely based in the city or if it's the whole world, where Jade is like super powerful and it's like magic, and this one family can use it and they have been like the freaking patriarch of this whole city or world or kingdom. I have no idea. So they've been like the family, but then this new like drug comes out that makes anybody be able to use and harness Jade to do magic. So now the family is like trying to fight against this like rivaling family to not get overthrown. I mean, honestly, like, I don't even know if what I'm saying is necessarily the most accurate portrayal, but I'm still super invested because do you see this freaking cover? And also Jade Legacy. Jade Legacy. Like, doesn't that just sound so sexy? Like, it just sounds harsh and intense and also sexy, and I love it. So I will be reading this. Hopefully, I'll probably read this and Jade War in like a vlog of its own. And then this is the book I was talking about before, Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. I already talked about this, but like, take a look at the cover. It's stunning. Girl Serpent Thorn by Melissa Bashardoust. I might be close. She is someone who writes a lot of like fairy tale retellings. So I don't know what this one is supposed to be, but it is about a girl and her twin brother, and the girl, I don't know if it's a curse or what, but basically like she's poisonous. If she touches you, you'll get poisoned. So she's like remained hidden away while her twin brother has been out there shining, you know, living his whole life. And on his wedding day, she has to decide whether she's gonna like sit back and not go or whether she's gonna show up. And I think it's like maybe a love story between her and like somebody else. Sometimes the princess is the monster. That's amazing. Also, if this is queer, it's going to be so good because Girls of Snow and Glass, which I swear, if that's not the name of the book, that's going to be so sad. But that was queer, and I really love that. So I'm hoping that this book will be too. And then we have Bloodsworn. This is the second in the Ashlord series that I already showed you before. And all it says is, the fight for true freedom is here. And it says, the races are over, war has begun. So I guess that the first book is about the races, and the second is a war that sparks due to something that happens in the first book. I have no idea, but like, do you see this cover? This is wild. This is wild. Like, I am very intrigued to read these because of like how freaking crazy the covers are. Watch Over Me by Nina Lacour. This is one that I'm not sure if I want to read or not because I'm not a big like magical surrealism person or like contemporary fiction person. And the people that love this book also really love Katrina Leno, which I just thought her book was okay, like, so I'm not really sure. But this is about a girl who goes to a farm, I believe, maybe to stay with a relative, I'm not sure, and there's ghosts, but not ghosts. Like, that's what I'm confused about. It's like there's ghosts, but there isn't, and they're like maybe metaphysical, I don't know, something like that. This is one that I'm not sure about, but I'm not willing to take it off my TBR yet. I am so excited about this one. This is The Plot by Jean Humph Corlitz. This is one that I actually just picked up in my P.O. box, and I'm so excited. Let's see. It was sent by Michelle M. Thomas. I'm so excited to read this. It's very thin. Gabby gave it 5 stars, said it's one of her favorite thrillers and mysteries of 2021. And you know, we love her recs on mysteries and thrillers. And also it's about an author, so I love that. What I know about this book from what she said is that it's about an author who's like a college professor, and he has a really like cocky student who's like, I have the best idea for a book. I don't need your help anymore. Like, I've got this in the bag. I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna sell a bunch of copies. And the professor's like, okay. And then he hears what the book is about, and he's like, oh my God, that's a really good idea. But then the guy like mysteriously dies, I guess. Like, the student mysteriously dies. And the author, or like the college professor, writes the book and sells it, and he becomes rich and like famous. But then he gets a letter that says, you're a thief. And it's like supposed to be like a thriller of like what's going on and what happened and like how the guy died, like the first guy, the student. I don't know, but it sounds so good, and I'm like really excited to read this one. And then I have 2 queer YA contemporary fictions, and that is Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins and Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. So these are both books that I got around the same time that I'm like, listen, I don't normally read like YA contemporary, but I've heard people say that they're really good and that it pushed me over the edge with that they're queer, and that this one is supposed to be for like fans of Red, White, and Royal Blue, of which I am a huge fan, and it's British. And Grace said that the middle of the book is absolutely fantastic, but the beginning and the end were like just kind of boring, but that the accents are really thick, but they're also fun. You know, it's a chunky boy for what it is, but I'm definitely willing to give it a chance. And then Her Royal Highness, I have heard people say this is really good because it is a queer, let's just read a little bit of the back because I honestly don't know. And then Millie's roommate is a total princess, and she's actually the Princess of Scotland. What? At first, the girls can't stand each other, but before Millie knows it, she has another sort of best friend / sort of girlfriend. Princess Flora could be a new chapter in her love life, but Millie knows the chances of happily ever after are slim. After all, real life isn't a fairy tale. Or is it? Like, these seem like really fun times, like how the Sarah Pekkanen and Greer Hendrick books are, where I'm like, I don't think I'm going to absolutely adore these and want to keep them, but I think that they're going to be like a really lighthearted, fluffy, fun time. I know. I know. I haven't started it. I haven't read it. And I'm here to tell you that fact again. Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. When am I going to get on it? It's a booktube darling. And honestly, I need to just read it because if I hate it, at least I will have read it. You know what I'm saying? This is another book where I've heard so many people describe this book, but they're so vague and I have no idea what they're talking about. I have no idea what they're talking about. All I remember, okay, there's a world called Weep, and Laszlo Strange, dang Katie, okay. Laszlo Strange is like a librarian. Yeah, and he's heard about this world called Weep, and it's this mystical world, and it went missing. So he wants to find it. So he like pals up with somebody on a ship. I've heard that this is a lot like Erin Morgenstern's like writing, where it's really beautiful, very atmospheric. I've also heard a lot of people say that like you need to read this physically because it is so atmospheric, it's so dense and like beautiful. But that really puts me off because you know I love an audiobook and I'm very scared because this looks really, really big and really terrifying, but I do love this cover. Like, I'm here to tell you again for the billionth time that I will read this book. I just don't know when I'm going to read this book. And I have my other Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen book, which is The Wife Between Us. I have the same thing to say that I did about Anonymous Girl, which is I don't know what this book is about and I don't care. I don't care. Kayla actually said she really loved this, even though everyone was giving it like a 2 or 3 star. And I was like, this just sounds fun and flashy like Sherry Lapina. And sometimes that's the kind of ride you're looking for. 56 Days by Catherine Ryan Howard. I'm very excited to read this book. The premise of this is so intriguing, and I'm gonna have to read it because it's one of Gabby from Gabby Reads Book of the Month picks. Like, if you don't know, she does a book club called The Book Troop, and it's so much fun. I've been on it once, and it was like so amazing. She's so cool. This is set during the panorama, you know. So it's about these 2 people, they meet at a supermarket and they start dating right before the Rona hits. I don't want to say the word because I know we'll get flagged on YouTube. So right before the panorama starts, they start dating, and then when lockdown happens, they're like, you know what we should do? We should move in together. So they do because they don't think it's going to last that long. And then when the lockdown lasts a really long time, the cops come to knock on the door, and then they're like, where is she? And she's dead, and we're trying to figure out what happened to her. And like, that sounds so much fun. Like, I'm so excited to read this. Hairpin Bridge by Taylor Adams. This is the author of No Exit, which is right here. This is one of my favorite thrillers I've ever read of all time. 5 out of 5 stars. This is the book that I always recommend to people when they're in a reading slump. Loved it so much. So I'm really hoping for a similar success, or at least kind of a success in a similar vein as that book. But Hairpin Bridge is about this girl whose twin sister jumped off of this hairpin bridge and committed suicide, but the last text that she sent her sister was, please forgive me. And the sister's like, I want to get inside her head. I don't think she would have done this. Like, what's going on? So she goes in her sister's car with a cassette like recorder to the bridge to talk to like the patrol officer who was on duty, who found her or something. But then his story isn't adding up. And then I guess something happens and it's all wild because I'm pretty sure people say that it goes into like her trying to survive and like escape with her life. And listen, like, he is just so thrilling. Like, I'm not liking how many times I'm saying the word Florida. Ew, why is this blurbed by AJ Finn? Okay, that made me sad. Anyway, hopefully this is good. A Man Called Ove from Frederick Bachman. Frederick Bachman also wrote one of my favorite books, which is Anxious People. Absolutely loved it. Made me cry so hard. And I've heard that this one will make you cry even harder. So many people say that this is like one of their favorite books. It's stunning. It's beautiful. What I know about this is that it's about like an old crotchety man who, I think he like begrudgingly becomes friends with his like loud, obnoxious neighbors. And it's kind of like the story of how his wife, which was like vibrant and beautiful and happy, was like his heart, and she passed away and she died. And you're going through all these chapters of his life, like hearing all these things about his life and like how he's living now that she's not there. And I've heard that like it makes everybody cry and it's heartbreaking. And sometimes you just need a good cry. Do you know what I'm saying? Madam by Phoebe Nguyen. I love this cover so much. I have not heard great things about this book, so I'm very concerned. This was also sent to me by one of my friends, but everything I'm hearing is that the book is like not great. So if you've read this and you loved it, please let me know in the comments. But this is supposed to be like a dark academia setting where it's a professor who is like the new girl at the school. Like everyone else kind of seems like they know a secret, that she's the only one that doesn't know it. And I don't think it's like a murder mystery. I don't remember. It's like everybody at the school's like has a secret and then she doesn't understand what's going on. I don't recognize anybody that has blurbed it. Let's see. They want our silence. They want our obedience, but let them see our fire burn. That tells me nothing. Okay, let me know if you liked it. And Every Morning, The Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Bachman. This is a very tiny book. It's a novella, and it's about this grandfather and his grandson sitting like on this pier or something that keeps getting smaller. And I don't know why they're sitting there, but he's sharing these stories of what it was like to fall in love with his wife and what it was like to lose her. And like, just like kind of like the meaning of life and love and compassion and all these things. And I've heard it's really sad and it's really good. And I also love how tiny it is because I'm going to feel so accomplished reading this. Don't Tell a Soul by Kirsten Miller. I'm here to tell you, I have no idea what this book is about, but I've seen it like housed at Barnes & Noble in the YA horror section. And I love it. I'm obsessed with this cover. I was sent this by someone that didn't put their name on it and didn't have a note or anything. So I was like, what? Like, that's amazing. Oh my God. So I have no idea why they sent this to me, but I am truly obsessed with this cover. There's like, this might be, standing next to Black Sun and Priory, I'm not sure, but this might be like, this is definitely top 3, like favorite covers. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It says on the back, all the best ghosts are girls. Love that. And then people say the house is cursed. It preys on the weak and young women are its favorite victims. In Louth, they're called the dead girls. Like, quite literally, say less. Okay, y'all are gonna have to tell me if I'm wrong or right about this one, but Malice by Heather Walter. I want to read this so bad because people have said it's really good and that it is a like queer twist on a fairy tale. So I'm pretty sure what this is about is it's about the evil sorceress like Maleficent, and she puts a curse on Sleeping Beauty, and Aurora is like slowly like disintegrating, like slowly going downhill, and she keeps kissing princes because the curse is like your one true love has to kiss you or whatever. So she keeps kissing all these boys and all these princes and nothing's happening. And she's like, if I have to kiss one more boy, I'm gonna freaking lose it. And then the evil queen or the evil sorceress Maleficent is like, what if I kiss her? Do you think that would work? Like, I mean, I started the curse. Would that end it? But then it's probably gonna be like, oh, let's kiss it's her one true love. I'm so down. I love Maleficent. I love a villain story and villain falling in love with the hero, with the princess. Like, hold me back from reading this book. The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I'm shocked to tell you that I don't actually know what this book is about because I've just always been like, oh yeah, it's about this girl who realizes that her family kind of through their roots, not Salem, but like that they have witchcraft or like that her family comes from witches, and that I think that she gets drawn into a scenario like into the woods, that would make sense, into the woods by some presence that like I guess bestows upon her like either magic or just the knowledge that she has magic. The reason that I want to read this, not only because I've heard it's good, but because I'm pretty sure didn't it win or was a contender for like the 2020 best horror? And I was like, this is horror? Bet. Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nyang. This, I know I've told all of you like 7 different times what this book is about and I can't remember. How can I not remember? I've told you before. I don't know. There's a receipt. There's a half price books receipt in here. This book cost me $5. And that's all I have to say about it. Dear Lord, we're at the last book. Can you believe it? I can't. I've been talking for 2 hours. Dear Lord, it's Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I love this cover. I love it. I have not heard stunning things about this. It's like, I'm pretty sure, like, Olivia loves it, and then everybody else says it's okay. But there's something that draws me to this book. I haven't picked it up yet, but I won't get rid of it because I'm like, I do want to read this, like, really bad. And this is supposed to be about kind of like the night circus, where it's like a traveling or like annual circus, I guess. And it's like a competition to, like, I think, like, for magicians, I believe. And this girl wants to go there so bad. And she goes there with her sister, but on the first night, or maybe even right when they arrive, her sister gets taken. And then she finds out that she was taken by the circus, like the Caraval, like, Grand Master named Legend. And he says that that's what the game is about, is trying to find this girl. And I'm like, what? Like, why take her? She's just some rando. I don't know, but I guess maybe our main character takes part in the game. I'm going to assume she takes part in the game. I don't know. It's the first book in a trilogy, and I am planning on reading it. I'm not sure if I'm going to love it because a lot of people haven't, but it's not going to stop me from reading it. I never thought I was going to get here. Honestly, it has been, it's been a long journey, but we're here for the outro, okay? Hopefully this video wasn't a bajillion minutes long, but if it was, thank you for sticking it out. If you got this far into the video, why don't we leave the stack of books emoji? I think that's what I did for my 2021 TBR in the beginning of this year, so it's only fitting to do it again, to come all the way back to point A. So leave the stack of books if you've gotten this far, and tell me what of these books you either really want to see me read, the books that you don't think I'd really enjoy, like if I'm going to unhaul 2 or 3 of these books, what are the books that you think I could stand to lose, I could stand to part with, and what books you really want to see me do dedicated reading vlogs for, or maybe mash up a couple of these books and I'll read 2 of them in the same vlog or 3 of them in the same vlog, depending on, like, what theme you think I should have for the vlog. That would be fun. And thank you for sticking it out this far. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you want to subscribe before you leave, the button is down below. You could also like this video. I will have my Instagram and Goodreads link down below if you want to check out any of those channels with me. And all of that being said, have an amazing day, evening, night, dusk, dawn, whatever it is you're having right now. It is definitely midnight where I am, but I will see you in a video coming very soon. Bye.